I was a little reason me or something that you would kill me in single combat, like
See, the
that
problem
we'd
with that,
fight sort of la 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 la, wheelies and bums, butts and toilets and wieners.
wonderful. Sing. We're back, and I got Jacob here now.
All right. So yeah, as I was saying, like before we started streaming again, the last thing I remember from your previous stream, because I was a little drunk, was you were reading foot on the screen, and you were reading Mr. Angry Dog's like
His
foot fetish thing
his
about
manifesto.
Jane the Killer.
Let's be honest. It was like his entire page. Like, I'm just waiting for Mr. Angry Dog to go on a school shooting.
I think like Mr. Angry Dog, like I don't know if this is an appropriate joke to make, but I'm gonna make it anyway. Strikes me as the kind of guy who's just gonna go off one day and just murder a bunch of people at Dairy Queen and then turn the gun on himself.
You know what's frightening? The dude is like 6'8". Very not the most pleasant of mental images right there.
Yeah. By the way, guys, how does Vince sound to you guys? Because he sounds really robotic on my shitty with my shitty internet. So I'm just wondering if he and I both sound alright to you. Because there might be moments where you guys can understand what he's saying, but I can't. So I guess you're going to be focusing on creepypasta and fanfiction. I guess I'll handle reading the chat.
Oh yeah, I have the
And
chat.
we'll just...
How well can am I coming in decently clear enough? Like at all?
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, according to the chat, you sound fine. So it's my shitty internet speed. So I wouldn't worry about it. My Skype does this on the other. I just have bad luck with computers. I wouldn't worry about it.
So
I'm going to post about this. Americans that want to jump on board.
Europeans need to learn how to fix your sun so it matches ours. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. We have separate suns. Not everybody knows that.
Earth is like Planet Namek now. It's got 3 suns, each for a different section of the Earth.
I saw this video of this woman who was like, it's hotter in Spain than England because it's closer to the sun.
Oh, of course. That's pure science. Delicious science. Or as the scientist from Bino the Elephant would say, speculative science. Let me see. I'm trying to decide what to cover first. Now that I actually have you here, because I want to see what's the most cringeworthy thing. Are you actually looking at the stream to see what I'm looking at?
No, I'm not, because my it's running really slowly for me. So like your stream is like frozen.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want to send me like a link to what you're looking at in the chat in the Hangouts chat, I'll just open it for myself.
Oh, where to begin? Okay. I recommend. I'm stupid enough to not have safe search on while I'm doing this, so I'm going to be on an FBI watch list. But I recommend you go incognito when you do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna send it to you right now. The link to his Fur Affinity page.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Awesome. That's the exact reaction I wanted. So, everyone here. Oh, hey Brandon, how you doing? JC the... Okay, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have nothing against JC the Hyena for his hobbies, okay? I'll make fun of him, but I don't think he's a bad person because he's a furry, or that he's a brony, or that he's anything like that, okay?
I do.
Well, I'm trying to pretend to be nice to him. The fact that he's a douche and he has a tremendous ego, and he kind of opens him up for mockery, is all I'm saying. And to be honest, his eccentricities kind of go beyond just weird kind of weenish behavior. Well, no, I'm thinking about Mr. Angry Dog, excuse me. Because he's basically a serial killer in the making, and JC's just an average ween, never mind. But we're still gonna laugh at him. So, are you enjoying his Fur Affinity page? All the feet and butts?
I haven't been able to bring myself to fucking look at it because I'm basically taking this as an excuse to post about the stream on social media when in actuality I just don't want to look at the Fur Affinity page until I've like steeled myself.
Well, we don't necessarily need to go into his gallery because I've already shown everything there is to show. He doesn't do much nowadays. And it's probably because he knows that there are more eyes on him that he really wants to. Like, the worst kind of attention, the kind of people who would mock and deride the guy. And I understand him wanting to kind of keep a low profile and to avoid any drama that might come his way because he probably knows that he doesn't have the best of tempers, as we've seen before. But he's not been infrequent because I've seen like some people commenting down there saying that he's watched them maybe about a month or a week ago. So I'm hoping that he does see this. Okay, let's look at his favorites. Ooh, spicy. He likes hyenas. I think that much has been already proven already. He He likes what's the fucking Bendy in the Ink Machine? That.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this fucking thing, then. All right, where did you send it? On the Hangouts chat, yeah.
Yep, and I'm looking at his favorites right now.
Show messages. Oh god, I'm so fucking frightened of this. Okay, furaffinity.net. This is the fucking name of the website. Wow, listen to this. The page you were on is trying to send you to furaffinity.net/JCTheHyena. If you do not want to visit this page, you can return to the previous page. My computer knows me so well.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Sherwood. Did you see the new It movie?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Did you see the new It movie?
The new It movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I liked it fine. I tell you what, though, good actors, good cinematography, fucking shit sound design.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not normal. Like, I know not everybody's into sound design. It's kind of a nerdy thing. I'm really into sound design. I feel like fucking garbage sound design.
Yeah, fucking inserting jump scare noises where it really isn't necessary. Like
yeah, and like the use of like background sound just wasn't compelling. It was like really kind of wishy-washy and ugh.
How would you compare?
Anyway, I'm on JC the Hyena's Fur Affinity page, and sweet Jesus, this is like autism, like intravenously going straight into my veins.
So, I'm going to ask you another follow-up question. Like, when you're, like, I assume that I haven't seen the new one, honestly, or I've seen bits and pieces. The new Pennywise, like, he did a decent job, didn't he?
Yeah, like I say, like I thought the cast were all really good,
but
you know, including.
But did
including
you
the
all?
actor, Bill Skarsgård,
Didn't you find him
and
sexy? Did you find him sexy? Yes or no?
Sexy.
Because
is that what you said?
Yeah, because JC did.
No.
JC finds him
I'll
sexy.
say I did.
So,
JC the Hyena did that. That surprises no one. There's no one present on the live stream right now who is even remotely. JC the Hyena beats it to Pennywise the Clown. There's no one.
So how many people have ever wanted to be vored by by Pennywise the Clown?
Oh, Jesus, fucking kill me! Right, where can I find this? Is it on his gallery?
It's in his favorites. There are two of them.
Favorites, is it right?
Yeah.
Jesus, all right, favorites. Go at what's on the screen right now for the guys.
Uh-oh.
They are.
Oh, sorry, you kind of skipped that on me. Oh, and here's someone who's willingly going into Pennywise Monster Mouth. And Pennywise looks confused, as he should be, honestly.
Jesus Christ. All right, Vince, can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you just fine. Now.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at one. I don't know if it's already been shown. It's Tip Tep's Happy Place, gift by Dave 20p. It's like it's in favorites, and it's on like the third line down on the far right.
I'm going back now.
And it's like a little tiny creature is hiding in some what I think is horse buttocks.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and I don't think I'll ever have sex again.
Well, let me.
Um,
Well, if you were looking for someone, and would you think to look in a horse's buttocks for them? Would you? No. The answer is no. So it would seem that once again, JC the Hyena has outsmarted you, sir.
it would depend who I was looking for, because if it was someone, if I was looking for JC the Hyena, that would be the first place I'd look.
You think a horse would let him near him?
It's like I'd pry some horse butt cheeks apart, and there he'd be.
It's just his face sticking out, like, "Hey, buddy." Like, well, no, you just like close the door. It's getting cold. I'm just imagining JC going to try to like spoon with a horse. He just gets kicked in the head. Got a permanent horse, like a horse print on his fucking.
I'm a bit upset because Sean Norris from Zombie the Studios put out a tweet earlier talking about how excited he is about a new movie idea. Like, we should collaborate one day, and he just didn't reply. And I was like, all right, fuck you then, you long-haired prick. Get a haircut, you fucking hippie.
Oh. Let me see. Oh, I didn't know that Darkwing Duck. Wow, Darkwing Duck too, huh?
All right, there's a lot of foot stuff, isn't there?
Foot stuff. Sonic's ass. Oh wait, that's a Sonic's ass mouse pad, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that one right now, at the bottom of the page. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I've never been more horny in my life. Look at that the Sonic 3D mouse pad.
I feel that's a weird thing because
you know somebody's tried to fuck him.
I mean, yeah, just imagine the guy who owns that mouse pad just like
as well
trying to motorboat the shit out of them. Did you see art of giant Mickey? I'm sorry. Oh, hello. Let me use Yubu same Ubusum. Holland. I'll just call you that. Jamie, hello. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Billy. I hope you're enjoying the oh-so titillating images in front of you. This is JC.
They're amazing, aren't they? Just fucking beautiful.
Let me tell you, like, every time I watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, those weasel characters, like, they always thought they were pretty funny characters, despite being kind of one-off villains. But, you know, I kind of had to watch it when my mom was in the room because I would get a raging stiffy, and I would have to explain my very confused feelings to her.
Yeah, I definitely like. Yeah, looking at the fucking grotesque clawed toes of those weasel creatures. Definitely want those in my mouth. That's something that's very appealing to me on a sexual level.
And commission? He commissioned. Wait a minute. If the Darkwing Duck ones are commissioned. That means that JC he paid for someone to put him with fucking Darkwing Duck. He's got a thing for Darkwing Duck. So much so that he paid for it.
On the same page. Vince, on the same page. My favourite one is the wallpaper. Can you make sure everybody can see this? The Big Bonkers desktop.
Hold on, let me, big...
Jesus Christ.
You see the Sonic Vor, Sonic, of course. Big Bonkers. Which page is that?
It's on page 2, I think. Yeah, page 2.
I'm still lingering on the first page. There's a lot to dissect.
Because I was looking at the fucking like Who Framed Roger Rabbit weasel foot stuff that was on page 2. I can't believe that's a sentence I've just said out loud.
Scientists have predicted that if JC and Christian ever met...
You know, when you were a kid and you would swear and your parents would threaten to wash your mouth out with soap. Like, I kind of wish I could wash my mouth out with soap to get that fucking sentence about Who Framed Roger Rabbit weasel feet out of my mouth.
I just imagine you just getting like a giant brick of it and just chewing down on it as hard as you can.
Yeah,
this is what you were talking about. Bonkers.
Yeah, JC the Hyena's just sitting there, you know, trousers open, pecker out, fucking tin of beans with the with a fork in it. He's been eating cold, just jacking it to bonkers.
Just got a fucking watermelon. He's been sitting out in the sun. Cuts a hole through it, sticks his dick in it, pretending that he's sticking it between those big mammoth furry toes. This is, apparently he has a girlfriend, and she's the one that helped him. She's the one that helped him proofread the newest one he's made, the fucking Sonic.EXE remake. That's what I read.
Oh my god. He is. It's fucking Chris Chan the Return.
No, because Chris Chan wasn't able to find someone who would slum it with him.
I know obviously he couldn't find a sweetheart during his love quest, but what's so wonderful to me about what I'm drawing the parallel with is that JC the Hyena is putting people from his real life in his garbage stories. It just reminds me of being like, Mary Lee Walsh who stomped on my heart.
Trying to find.
Now she's going to be the main villain of my fucking abysmal webcomic.
Discord, the fucking. If you don't know who Discord is, think Q from Star Trek Next Generation. Literal voice actor and everything, just in a My Little Pony show. Probably one of the few things I actually enjoyed about that show. But JC also enjoys that ass because he favorited it here. Is it weird that one of like I'm looking at this picture of Sonic right here as more like a realistic model, and it's like, how are you going to make a Sonic like a Sonic butt cushion thing? Like, the character literally is made to have no ass. Like, you have to just twist logic for that.
Let's see, what am I looking at? Are we still on page 2?
Well, I went to page 3, but like, if you find anything on page 2, I'll go back in a heartbeat, let me tell you.
Christ. Finger-licking friends is a favourite of mine.
Oh.
Can we get finger-licking friends on the screen, please? Can you full size that?
Okay, let me,
I want to share this with everyone.
This is owner of this place elected to mate for register.
An account.
Never, never.
Yeah, I can't do that right now because I've scheduled myself to have the shit kicked out of me instead. So no, I can't.
No, we can reschedule. Go ahead, by all means, make an account. Let's see, Star Fox and more. Oh, the Great Mouse Detective is nothing sacred to you?
Ugh, the Great Mouse. There's fucking mouse butt as well.
Why, God? What is it? What is this weird obsession? Like, specifically the Tom Nook, seriously?
The fucking Tom Nook one really bothers me. It's the bugs not in my shop.
Oh my god. Yeah, Undertale shit, no surprise there.
There's like a Vor one that's just really, like, I mean, they're all creepy, but it looks really disgusting because someone's falling in his mouth, but it just looks like this giant, like, Reaper tongue from Blade 2 is just, like, unfurling from it.
House of Rage is losing his shit in the comments.
Alright, I'm moving on to page 4, mate. I can't spend too long on them.
I don't know, like, you gotta really. Oh, what? Come on, please.
Immediately go to page 4, top right, oh yeah, the far right of the top row. There's one called "You're No Silly Dog." There it is. You're no silly dog, but you'll do.
What the fuck is that face? Is Sonic doing his best Sylvester Stallone impersonation?
Oh my god.
Is he,
That is genuinely nightmarish.
Okay.
You know, chili dog.
Oh god. Oh, my throat. stream's lagging a bit.
Of course, JC's the kind of person who plays Undertale.
I played Undertale and I liked it. But I played it before.
Undertale sucks and you're stupid for liking it.
Well, Alien vs. Predator sucks and you're stupid for liking that, so there. Well,
you're not wrong.
I mean, okay, it doesn't... It's...
It's stupid. Yeah, I like crappy movies. I'm completely open about that.
Really, you felt the need to fap to Rocco's Modern Life too? Really?
All right, I'm moving on up, mate.
Just all my
moving
fucking
on down, however you want to call it. I'm like the Jeffersons. All right, there's so much feet stuff, or should I say more like paws? I guess.
Yeah. I think. Oh, I'm sorry. I probably just fucking just blew the microphone out. I'm so sorry. The screen froze. Yeah, that's because I have all these tabs open of stuff I thought I was gonna cover, but the Fur Affinity stuff was just so funny that I couldn't help myself. Okay, this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like close some things off.
I mean,
I've not got any software open that I don't need.
I mean, some of this stuff is a little bit more tame than what we've seen before. Nothing. I mean, it's stupid, but in comparison to everything we've seen so far.
It's just
Shadow the Hedgehog on the thong right here. Muscle Shadow. Wonderful.
I am now on page. What page is this? Page 6, and there's a piece that I'm quite fond of. There's two of them, in fact. There's Lick or Be Crushed and Lick or Be Crushed Coloured.
Oh, well, can't be that bad.
And Sonic is licking somebody's paw, but I don't know who that is. It looks like Sonichu.
Wait, what? I can't. Where is it? He said it's on 6.
Oh god, that is so fucking gross on full screen as well.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that does look like... That looks almost exactly like Sonichu. Looking at, let me see. Oh, Scratch from Sonic... Are you serious? The fucking... Scratch, of course.
You know what? At this point, I'm expecting to see, like, fucking, like, Rule 34 of all the robots. Point like you do at the beginning, like God knows what he could use those for now.
Yeah, no, I'm just imagining, like if JC's Wet Dreams, you know, just Scratch walks up to him like holding his robot feet, like, "Do I make you horny?" Ha ha ha! And he just like comes right then and there.
Or just like, or just grounder with the jewels. Okay, it's time to bend over.
It just like unfurls his drill cock. Let me see. Five Nights at Freddy's, of course. Like we're just
apparently your screen is frozen according to the
it is?
chat. Like they can't.
Oh shit! It is.
Listen, apparently.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
No longer.
Trying to. I've already established that I'm an inept fuck, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Bothers me.
What page?
The page is. Let me scroll up and find it. Oh. I really feel sick. It's page 7.
Okay, I'm sure it can't be that bad. Of course, forgot to mention Scooby-Doo butt.
Actual fursuit.
Scooby-Doo.
Like fursuit, like sex. Oh god, it's so disgusting.
Ew! What the fuck?
You know, furries are perfectly normal. Fuck off, are they? Don't look at that. All of you look at it and tell me that's not degenerate.
Oh.
Tell me that's healthy.
Oh, Jacob,
Yeah.
you gotta admit, he and you have similar taste in game. Look, Banjo Kazooie foot porn. Come on, bro. You and JC are twin sides of the same.
For a second.
Huh?
I lost you for a second. Oh, the fucking Banjo Kazooie thing. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, it's so grim. It's so grim. Like the fursuit stuff. It's just like the fucking spread legs and everything. Oh god, that's so gross.
You
What
know,
a sex criminal. Jesus.
you know.
People are like, oh, don't be judgmental. It's no different to being gay or whatever. I'm like, it's very different. Like,
Let me be clear.
wanting to fuck animal people makes you a freak.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not necessarily the opinion of Vince 12. I'm a guest on this channel. This is my opinion, but that makes you a fucking degenerate.
I don't think anything like. Here's the thing. If you want to be able to do this, I don't think you should be like against the law. I guess, as long as you're not going out actually fucking animals, I'm cool with it. But the moment that you think that you should be above mockery, like you're kidding yourself.
I see. I'm kind of in the internment camps bracket when it comes to these people.
Well, I'm not for the human race in general, but no, everyone thinks that my position is a little too extreme.
Like, seriously though, like this stuff is so disgusting that that they should by all means be free to indulge in it, and it's our own fault for like wandering onto a website called Fur Affinity. But it's just so awful, and I think basically, I agree with you that these people are.
No, fuck.
Nobody's. Like it's not. Basically, this is unhealthy. Like this is an unhealthy thing. Like to want to be this interested in realistic animal people. I mean, at the bottom of the page, he's got 80. There's an advert. I mean, it's not his fault, but the advert for fucking 18 plus sex teddies. This isn't normal. And if you're like this, you're not normal. And instead of going, oh, it's just part of a culture. Look, I'm going to draw these. I'm going to draw Sonic eating tails. Go and see a counselor, you fucking nut.
It's funny because right now, after everything that you just said and everything I'm seeing right now, the most angry I've been at this moment is the fucking JC the Hyena taking the image from one of my favorite games, Earthbound, for the fucking Happy as Blue shit, which was one of my favorite parts of that game. You can rot right in hell for that shit. Like, keep your fucking fetish and your fursona away from my favorite franchise, you cunt.
It's just disgusting.
Oh, but we just happen to have similar interests in you. No, I don't want to hear that bullshit excuse. Again, you want to do this?
No, I tell you what, mate. Unless we go to the journals or something, I don't want to stay on Fur Affinity any longer. This art will be dry heave, particularly the live action, and like all the kind of very realistic CGI things. It got me to a point where I felt physically ill.
No,
that's not fun. So.
Thomas tried to oh guys, you got 2 more pages, you can make it. No. Don't try to make me prolong this suffering longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of thing that could legitimately, no joke, give me nightmares.
You're just gonna have a nightmare about some guy breaking.
I'm gonna have a quick wander onto the gallery because he's got commission info, so I want to see how good his artwork is that you can get commissioned. Well, this is all shit.
Yeah, it is shit. I actually.
Don't get me wrong. It's better. It's way better than I ain't charging people for drawings.
I'm trying to.
Having said that, I did put my shit picture of the Toffee Crisp vampire on a T-shirt, and a lot of people bought it. So.
Now let's see what can I have 2 fanfiction here, 2 fanfic.
Oh god, why the fuck is he's got a Sonic.EXE There Will Be Blood thing.
Is it,
And he's not wrong that if you read it, there's a lot of blood. But even so, it's like,
is he? Is that you mean in reference to the movie There Will Be Blood?
yeah.
Hello. Sonic jumped out of a screen and
Fucking ridiculous.
Sonic jumped out of the screen and pulled him into his world. No, I have not heard the sound of Sonic being violently ripped to death, so I know that's not the case. Because I know that Jacob's hatred of Sonic.EXE is so powerful that it will overcome whatever Mary Sue bullshit is in effect, and he'll just rip it apart. Can you hear me? This is problematic. And not the feminist kind of problematic where there's not really a problem.
Why can't you hear me?
I can hear you, it's just that... I don't know, I think it's a lagging for some reason.
I can hear you, but can you hear me? The audience can hear me.
Yeah, no, I can hear you just
can
fine.
you?
It's just like, for some reason, it's taking a while for us to pick up each other. I don't think his webcam's on.
Okay, it sounded, for all the world, like you said, I can hear you just fine, but for some reason it's taking me to a coffee shop. Now, there's no way that's what you said, because that's gibberish.
Okay, I'm going to...
I'm assuming there's some kind of delay, like, you know, between my ears.
Oh, fuck me. Hold on.
By the stream chat, I'd like to repeat what I was saying earlier. JC the Hyena's journal. Now, the first journal entry here is written by his quote-unquote girlfriend, and she speaks exactly like him. In that sort of overly educated way, you know, where you try to sound really educated and smart, the way that JC the Hyena does in his rant about the subjugation of the internet itself. And Chris Jan does this, and Kraut and T does this, with his internet academics and scientists. So there's a journal entry here from Shannon. Good evening, everyone. This is Shannon, Sir JC's girlfriend speaking. I have come here to write this journal on my mate's behalf. My mate, kill yourself. Joke! For anybody who fucking flames if you're saying that. He has entrusted me to log into his FA and come to you all with an important announcement. He lets his girlfriend look at those fucking foot images and she hasn't run a fucking mile. Due to complications, JC must remain offline until his grades improve.
Are we sure that it's not really his mom talking?
I fucking can't. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. JC's girlfriend is either his mum or a 10-year-old. What if it's his 10-year-old mum?
Oh my god.
All right, now, ladies, what's cooler than being cool? Earlier this year, he started going to school, and his grades seemed to be ... less than stellar. I mean, color me fucking shocked, mate. Really, the paragon of intellect himself, JC the Hyena, is getting bad grades in school. That's the shock of a fucking lifetime. Oh my god, this was only posted 2 hours ago. This might be like an exclusive.
What the
It's got
fuck?
No comments or anything on it. And he knows that they need to improve. So until further notice, he'll be focusing on his studies and not really gross fan art of Sonic's butt cheeks crushing people. JC wishes to apologize to his fellow commissioners for this unexpected hiatus in his schedule. But he has a responsibility to himself right now. He just cannot ignore this time. But if you still have any birthday wishes you would like to send him, if you haven't already, which he thanks you for, by the way, please go ahead and do so if he can see them when he returns. And when he does return, he guarantees that he will continue with the commissions. Life sucks, I know. Believe me, I'm sure you know you're going out with JC the Hyena. Believe me, all I wanted to do was spend JC's birthday as well as Valentine's with him. But right now, his age... Right, what I'm so confused about is, didn't he say he was 21 when he wrote Sonic.EXE 2? And yet, he's, like, in school and is banned from using the computer. So he's obviously... He's still in school, so he's probably... he's probably... At the oldest, he's, like, 16. I'm so confused.
Oh god. Jacob.
I don't know. I can't hear Vince 12 anymore. So no, it's not about still living with your parents things. There's no shame in that. But what I am saying is that he still lives with his parents to the point where they have control over whether he's allowed to use the internet and stuff. Like once, you know, I mean, maybe it's different because I live in England where like most people leave school at 16. Like they might stay on for a couple of years, till they're 18. But then and again, once they're 18, like because you only get to stay on if you're smart. Like you only get to do years 12 and 13. Which is what you do at the ages of 17 and 18, if you're clever enough to come back, you know, and it's generally only really grammar schools. It might be different in America, but like to my knowledge, I mean, I left school at 16. I mean, I'm quite well educated. I went to a grammar school. I left school at 16. I still went to university, but so it's like it's fucking mental. So even if it's like you leave school at 18 rather than 16, that still means he's only 18, and surely not. Surely he must be under. Surely he must be under 18 if his mum can turn off his internet. Regardless, he's a fucking liar, because either he wasn't 21 when he wrote Sonic.EXE 2, which was a couple of years ago now. Remember, either he wasn't 21 when he wrote that, or he was. And he's lying about being in school. So which is it? You know, which one is true? Either you're young enough to have your parents dictate, you know, your life to you, or you're in your 20s. Which one is it? Like I joke, I like. You know, I joke about JC the Hyena and other like sort of like internet spurgs and lolcows, but they're just jokes. If I say haha, you know, making fun of his girlfriend, we're like, oh, of course you know life sucks. You're going out with JC the Hyena. These are just jokes. Like they're just mean spirited. They're mean spirited, yeah, but they're not meant to hurt anybody. But honestly, when you come out with shit like you're saying that you're still, you know, you're still in school and everything, and then you're telling people you were 21 like 4 years ago, whenever it was that the Sonic.EXE round 2 came out. Something smells a bit fucking fishy to me. And it's not just the contents of JC the Hyena's underpants after he's looked at feet long enough. Maybe yes, very strict overbearing parents. Yeah, but again, if he was 21 when he wrote Sonic.EXE round 2, that would make him about 24, 25 now, and he could tell his parents to go fuck themselves because he's a Australia was a mistake.
Like most of my information regarding Australia kind of comes from secondhand sources and people kind of anecdotal references. Like there was that incident in where that store owner straight up put a sign that like he didn't want Aboriginals, young Aboriginal men going in a store, and that was because it kept vandalizing shit and threatening him.
Yeah.
And it's like it sucks when it gets to that point, but at the very least, that's really the root of a lot of racism. Is like a fair amount of it's based in some kind of misunderstanding or something like that. And instead of acting like the misunderstanding doesn't exist, maybe we should try to address it so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time people ignore like a problem for fear of the instead of going right. Let's address the issue and find out why this is happening. And I'm naive enough to sometimes to imagine a sort of Star Trek-esque future where everybody's sort of move past all that and use technology to move towards a brighter future. But then I look at how people actually behave, and I'm like, all right, we're actually fucked, aren't we?
I came to that conclusion after watching Star Trek Discovery. Just shit blowing up and the most unlikable protagonist of all time. And,
was that Star Trek Discovery?
Yeah, I don't know. I've only taken a glimpse of the first episode. I just really didn't like the main character. She's going through.
I watched 2 episodes. I watched it with.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry, there's a definite delay, which I'm not intentionally interrupting you. There's just a delay between us.
Right.
No, what? Oh, okay. I thought you were holding out on me.
All my work got deleted.
How? Why? Hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
I'll leave
you in the capable hands of your actual host.
It's up to me to entertain people in the stream that I started. Like, now I have to actually...
Hold on, Jim.
I have to try to entertain you people now. And I think the best way to do that is through song. Is it any good? I'm getting one in a few days. We're back to Agumi's Korean suicide. It's good. What are you guys talking about? I haven't been paying attention to the comments as much as I should be. I apologize for not actually reading the comments. So I cracked the code. JC. Oh, thanks, Thomas. That makes me feel good. And I want to be clear. Like when I say things like that, that's not me. Because I can understand some people thinking that that's just me kind of fishing for compliments, like one of those fucking Instagram posters. They're like, "Oh, I'm ugly. I'm feeling ugly today. Don't fucking watch this shit." And like, I often, I'm just trying to be a little bit more like, please, what's the word? Self something. I forgot the term. I just try to have my not have my head in the clouds at all times. Because I'll be honest, like, and I'm saying this, I'm real talk, and I'm not trying to, again, not trying to fish for sympathy. Uh, do not be like me. I am a absolute loser and failure. And I mean that, I'm just me being completely honest. I'm a high school dropout. I'm 23 years old, never had a job. And I have a very big fear of the outside world. I'm a hermit. So, yeah, you know. Don't make this, don't be like, don't be a Najee. Don't be a Vince. That's basically what I'm trying to say. You know, I feel as though I have no right to ever kind of look down on people the way in any capacity. You know, in some instances, morally speaking, like I like to think that I have a better moral compass than a fair amount of people, but you know, that's highly subjective. What are you guys talking about? Oh, let me see. Sparrow, highly impactful. I forgot to greet you when you came in here. How you doing? Highly impactful podcast network. 13 people watching. Wow. More than there usually is. Yeah, would you guys like me to like go on to one of these like fan stories or just read the fan fiction I have here? Like, what would you like me to do? There's only so many times that I can basically kind of throw out the casting line for more some fish shit or anything. Can you guys hear me? Is this actually live? 'Cause I don't know. It feels like you guys aren't responding to me, and I deserve attention. I've earned it for all the hard work I've done over the years. All the immense hard work I've... It takes a lot of time and effort and planning to stand in front of a fucking audience of 13 people and talk about nothing important. Okay, this new Discord, we must, nope, do it. And I be down for Sonic fanfic readings, read the fanfic, we can hear you, read the fanfiction. Okay, this is Sonic.EXE Rises. Note, a spin-off from the original Sonic.EXE origin, a dark spirit has entered Sonic's world, and it seeks to erase all living things. The spirit takes advantage of the 7 Chaos Emeralds to get more and more power, until he can enter what he craves, a body. Without a body, it cannot truly harm anything, but with time it encounters Sonic, and takes control over his mind and booty. Let me see, Sonic High School. Who was it that I saw covering that? What's his name? The guy who does the voices Paulie, or used to voice Paulie for on Chris Ray-Gun's videos. If you combine all the shit from I've done from the other live streams, technically, yeah, it has been over, or close to I don't know, 20 hours, but it's been a decent amount of time. I probably won't be staying on for long, seeing as how I have to, like, my computer basically scheduled to reset. Is like, no, you're gonna do this tonight. Basically, to force the startup. And I want to point out, and I thank you all for being here. You guys are awesome. 15 people here, most I've ever had for a live stream. You're all beautiful people, and I'm trying to be pandering as much as possible. I don't know, I'm new to this live streaming thing, but yeah, this is gonna be the last stream I do for a while, mostly because I feel like I'm doing too many in a short amount of time, and I want to actually put effort into edited content like I used to. Nightwing, you know, Sonic.EXE Rises. Right. Oh, welcome to the welcome to the stream, Steve Wayne, if I haven't greeted you yet. I feel like an asshole. I haven't been greeting people as they've been coming in. Chapter 1. The beginning of the end. It was a sunny, clear day on Angel Island. Knuckles leaned towards a tree with his arms behind his head. Our favorite blue hedgehog stands... I was reading fanfiction for the audience.
What are you reading?
Sonic.EXE Rises.
Sonic.exe Rises.
I mean,
that's the one with Tom Hardy, isn't it?
I don't know. Is that the one where Tom grew out his body hair so he could look like Sonic.exe?
That's so fucking grim. Can we make, since it's called Sonic.exe Rises, can we make Sonic.exe Bane in this one?
Yes, it appears as though you shall be broken, or anally speaking, Sonic. You have no idea how much I like to yiff. I just imagine...
It will shock your genitals.
There's nothing more that I enjoy than big, furry hyena booty. Sonic's spine is broken for 2/3 of the story. Oh, people seem like most of
I'm not gonna lie to you, folks. I'm into big, hairy fruit.
are people like most of the people I talk to are kind of split on whether or not Dark Knight Rises is like overrated or is actually a decent sequel.
It's an enormous piece of shit and is barely watchable.
I from what I've seen, I don't know. It's less that I like Tom Hardy as an actor, and I just like the fact that it did a decent job actually covering the more technical part of Bane's character than most other things I've seen him in. Because everything else is casted Bane's like.
I just really didn't like it.
I'm mostly speaking as a I won't even say a hardcore Batman fan. I just really like certain characters. Bane's one of my favorite characters from the Nightfall storyline, and they actually did that, and they did a decent job at that. Although, I don't know. I mean, it's strokes for folks. Like, if you didn't like it, then that's fine. I mean, I've planned on killing you for less things. I'll just say this right now. For anyone who's listening right now, when I say please use the coaster or I'll play jump rope with your genitals, I'm not using hyperbole. In fact, if anything, I'm actually underscoring what I will potentially do to you if there's a scuff mark on my table. I take that shit very seriously.
I won't do anything like that, but I'll just dab at you so hard that a part of your soul will die forever.
I'm gonna go hang myself in a forest and then you can record it.
Fucking what a piece of shit.
He's like, I don't know what you can be done about the guy. He's basically unstoppable. He's like the douche Death Star.
There's the way it's just like he apologized for that business with the fucking corpse. And it's like, and clearly someone's been whispering in his ear, like Grimmer Wormtongue or Karl Rove, and it's just been like, because when you film that corpse, why don't you taser a rat to death, you piece of shit? And he's like, yeah, that'll be great, I'll do that.
Wait, I thought the rat was already dead and he was tasering it for no reason.
No, he tasered a dead one, but like he did taser an animal to death. It might have been a pigeon, maybe.
Why?
Because it's a cunt. Like what?
Like, I don't know. Like a person's action usually has some kind of weird train of logic that you can follow. It might not make sense, and the destination may be bumpy along the way, but at the very least, you know how he got from A to Z, you know? And
yeah.
Logan Paul is just like, I don't know, like his actions are so phenomenally fucked up that it goes beyond intentionally trying to be a douche. It feels like he genuinely can't comprehend that the things that he's doing are douchey. Like, I talked about, like, fucking going back to Sonic.EXE, how JC the Hyena, he wants to write, like, a complex character, and I was like, okay, when you think of a character who's, like, an otherworldly being, his morality wouldn't be the same as humans, right? Because he spent most of his time alone in space with no frame of reference as to how to interact with other creatures. And Logan Paul's the humanized equivalent of that. It's like his sense of morality is so otherworldly, I can't comprehend it. Why does it keep saying it's an incoming video call? Like, I'm already in the call.
I don't know. Everybody's fucking stupid.
Back to the story. You probably want to get on this hot, sexy hyena action. And even if you say you don't, I know that's secretly code word for you do. I can see it in your image for Google Hangout. You have that come hither look in your eyes, Jacob.
The same fucking image I use for YouTube, yeah.
It's amazing how you look almost nothing like that anymore.
Yeah. I'm just basically clinging onto the fact I was young once.
Well, yeah, you still look like roughly. You know, like I was
before creepy. Basically, that face on the screen when I don't know if actually people at home can't see it, but you know it because it's my YouTube, not thumbnail. What is it, like avatar?
Mm-hmm.
It look like that anymore because that was me before bad creepypasta had done its dirty job on me.
You know who, like, I don't know, we talked to Alex. Well, you talked to him more than I have. I've only talked to him, like on Skype once, which is weird, seeing as how we kind of know of each other. Like, I was watching, like, he does album reviews now, and he's pretty good videos. And if you haven't subscribed to Alexo's channel, you should. He's awesome. He makes really good videos, and he's very musically talented. And, no homo, but, like, I was watching one of his videos, like, dude's a pretty man. Not even gay, but I'm not saying that I would give him a bro job, but if you were up for it, and we had nothing better to do. Alexo, call me.
I hate you so much.
Are you saying that Logan Paul is the Jinka form of Sonic.EXE? I don't know what that means, but yes. Billy, let me see. Oh, by the way, welcome to the stream, Billy. Unless you were already here and I didn't notice it, I'm very forgetful. No, Alex. I am not saying Alex is hot, but not from a gay perspective. I'm not gay. I'm just saying. I don't get lost in his eyes. He had a mustard stain on his chin. That's all. The overanalyst, he's still in China. I don't know what's happening with him, if he's joined the triad or some shit. I'm just imagining he comes back from China like 5 years from now, and he's like roided up and tattooed. Wearing a fucking Mao Zedong suit.
I feel like when he comes back, because he was really kind of like liberal and like he kind of like left wing, and I feel like when if he ever comes back, like, hey guys, how's it all been? I'm like, yeah, back here there was this weird like culture war, and we're all like right wingers now.
I'm still. I don't know. I don't really give. Like, I don't really give a fuck what people label me as. Like, at this point, I'm trying to go back to what I was when I was a teenager, and that's just apolitical, because after a while, this shit gets really fucking old. I'm tired of politics. I'm tired of it being inserted into my recreational activities. Like a fucking Black Panther. You know what Black Panther is? Black Panther was a superhero made by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, most likely Jack Kirby more than Stan Lee because you know how it is. But it was just like some kind of throwback to old some like Pulp Fiction and shit like that that Jack and Stan used to read when they were like tykes. It was made by old Jewish guys. And they didn't give a shit about whether or not it was groundbreaking. All they cared about was telling a good story, and you know what? They did. And every single fucking time...
What you're saying is the black superhero was devised by Jews.
Well, everything is devised by Jews, don't you know?
You know.
Wait a minute, I'm just...
It was created by them, is what you're saying.
Oh, what was it? The three quotation marks or three apostrophe? I can't remember how you do it.
Yeah, so there are parentheses.
Wait a minute. We better stop talking about this, Jacob, because I could just... I smell freshly cooked bagels not too far away from here, so they might be coming for me. I could just smell the ointment on their hands as they reach and grab me by the neck. Then just shake me upside down and like all the the fucking shekels I have, they just shake it out of me and then they just leave. We'll come back for more if you talk out of line again. Yeah, I know it's gonna have. I know Black Panther's gonna have Afrocentric, futuristic undertones, but I just get tired of people latching onto it like it's some kind of political statement just based on the premise alone. It annoys the shit out of me. It's a superhero movie made to sell toys to kids.
And the way they're just like, oh, you know, Rotten Tomatoes is like, we're gonna make sure that the review score stays high, and like, oh man, a critic in Ireland didn't like it. Drumpf, you know, it's fucking stupid. And it's a movie. I said this on my own life. A movie where a guy dresses up in fucking pajamas to like fight aliens or whatever. Stop treating it like it's The Color Purple, you know?
Like, this isn't Second Coming of Roots. It's just can't we just go back to just having fun and like enjoying escapism without having this shit bleed over to it? Like, I watch superhero movies because I don't want to deal with that shit anymore. I can't believe we're living in an age.
I tell you what, it's made me nostalgic for like the late 90s and up to the mid 2000s.
Like, I miss the era.
Well, late 90s to late 2000s, and it's kind of like, to me, I just...
Oh, is there a delay again? Sorry.
Fucking hell. Goddamn delay. Again, I'm not interrupting you on purpose. It's just... like a major fucking delay between me speaking and you speaking. It's just so weird. Yeah, it's completely ridiculous. It's like I wish we could go back to the days of movies like Blade. You know, like there's an innocence and a purity to that movie. It's just like about a kung fu fucking, you know, vampire slayer who also is black, and it's just a really cool movie. And then stuff like Black Panther, it's just way too wee whiz kangs for my tastes.
Well, when it comes to something like that, is like the innocence mostly comes from like this is an adaptation of something that's very well known and that people enjoy, and we're going to bring over that aspect, and we're going to... The Blade was made for fans of the comic books. That's how it works. Like, people who read Black Panther comic book, I don't know, maybe the demographics were more geared towards black people. For the most part, even if that's the case, they're mostly black nerds then. Like, this movie and most superhero movies should be catered towards the fans.
Well, the thing is, like, you should just concentrate on Again, if you're trying to make like a political statement, it's just going to look ridiculous if you're doing it in a movie where again people dress up in leotards and you know smash up robots and aliens and things. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
12 Years a Slave.
When everything wasn't political, it was fun. Pepperidge Farm, remember?
12 Years a Slave. Color Purple. Roots. Fucking Black Panther. One of these.
We got to listen to the main theme of Schindler's List in band yesterday. Did you all like instantaneously become better people for listening to the music from Schindler's List?
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, so another thing I wanted to add because Nigel, maybe I could get your perspective as a coloured on this. What I was going to say is there's this whole thing people seem to be talking about how it's really important that Black Panther, you know, is a movie where the characters are black because then black kids can watch it and be like, wow, they look like me, therefore I can relate to them. Now, as a kid, when I was a kid, I didn't really care. Again, maybe it's because I'm white and there are a lot of white characters, but like I liked a lot of characters that were just different colours. And like my favourite Power Ranger was Zack for ages in the first season. Cool, and I liked the way he danced. And as I got older and got into other kinds of comic books, my YouTube channel is called Michael the War. If you know who that is, he's black. He was somebody that I always thought was an interesting, complex character that just the way he was written. I'm not like, oh, I like these comic books and I'd love to see like a Netflix series of it, but well, he's not the same color as me, so I can't really relate to him.
Well, I'm speaking for myself here. When I was more geared to.
Wait, I don't think anybody fucking heard any of that.
What? Are you sure?
Looking at the stream chat, I don't think anybody heard any of that.
Well, what you said?
Yeah, I don't think they did. Because, I mean, I just went off on one, and I was quite pleased with that rant, and I don't think anybody fucking heard it.
Everyone in stream well, they're saying that Vince's internet being about. Yeah, it is. It's mostly it's my fault. Blame the black man. I see how it is. Gonna play the race card. My favorite magic card. I'm gonna wait until. Honestly, growing up in like the neighborhood I grew up in was not what you can consider like a bad neighborhood, but it was more of a.
Hey, can I ask though, mate? Before you leave, like, what's bothering you to the point that you need to leave? Because I didn't state a fact. I stated the fact about my own experience as a child, and then asked a question. I wanted his perspective on it, and I want to understand what's upsetting about that. What?
Superhero comments are made for super. I'm looking at his.
I'm not calling you a baby or anything. I'm just.
I'm looking at his like a few of his past comments, and I don't know. I didn't see anything indicating that he was getting upset or anything. Like no, it's okay. Like I don't mind differences of opinion. Like if you have any contention with anything that's been said, like feel free to air them. Like like Jacob isn't one to really hold back when it comes to like biting back with a retort. But I try to be a little bit more lenient because I'm weird in the fact that even people I really don't like, I try to maintain a cordial tone with because I don't want to upset people. I'm not trying to take a shit on you, dude. Like I don't know. It's just I'm just basically saying that I'm a pussy.
Effectively, you have more basic humanity inside you than I do. I'm like a robot.
Well, that's your Englishness coming out again.
I'm very much of those I don't care about your feelings kind of person.
Are you sure you're not like part French?
I mean, I do. It's weird. I care about people's feelings. Like I never set out to upset anyone, and I'm usually if I feel like I've upset someone, I usually apologize. You know, it's only like when it gets into like the politics stuff because usually like a lot of the time I'll talk about statistics and facts and things, and then people get really triggered, and I just think like, well, I didn't say anything that's not true, so what's bothering you? But yeah, anyway, that totally got derailed because I was asking highly impactful podcast about the thing he said, but you were answering my question and it totally got derailed. What were you saying?
Yeah, I grew up in a rather not a troubled neighborhood, but basically it was like a kind of low income neighborhood, predominantly black and Hispanic neighborhood, and that kind of mentality where people were geared more towards celebrities and shit like that that were their own ethnic background. It was more ingrained in the community that I was in. It's more ingrained, I think, in lower income, mostly minority communities. Mostly because there's that kind of sense of us versus them that's kind of generated, and I think that has more to do with your income level, like I said before, than your race. But that's going into another topic. And I did kind of feed into that mindset when I was a kid. Like certain black athletes, and like there was that wrestler who was popular at the time, Bobby Lashley, and he was the kind of guy that he was a big muscle-bound jack dude who was a genuine badass in real life, MMA fighter, Greco-Roman wrestler, who was getting pushed really hard by WWE to be the next big thing, and I didn't notice all the shortcomings he had as a talent until years later when I walked back and was like, well, he wasn't very exciting back then. I can see why they didn't pull the trigger on the guy because he was kind of dull. He eventually became like an awesome ass kicker years later, but I was so infatuated with him because he was like, oh, he's like a black Superman. Like nowadays, I don't give a shit. Like I find something incredibly shallow and narcissistic to think that you can only relate to someone if they share physical attributes with yourself. Now, those are elements that can play a part in how you can put yourself in their shoes. Like if the story revolves around being treated differently because of like certain attributes, like your height or your weight or your skin color, then that's kind of meant for you to be put in that position where this person is like me, so I'm putting being in their shoes. But when it's something that's really innocuous, like they just happen to be black and they happen to be a scientist in this, is like oh well, that validates me as a black male to see this black man being a scientist. Is like it's really fucking, it's counterproductive and stupid because the only thing you share is skin pigmentation. Like, do you really share the love of the same similar passions? Like, are you really that interested in science compared to this guy too? Or you just feel better because someone who shares this superficial trait happens to be very successful in his endeavors. Because his accomplishments or his or her accomplishments are not your own, but for some reason you feel the need to take to find some pride in it, as if like, oh well, his accomplishments are a part of something greater than all like myself. Like, well, yeah, those are his though. Or hers. They aren't yours. Like, I see that shit all the fucking time with all these, I watched Get Out. I saw it in the theater with my mom. I actually really like that movie. I think it's one of the, I think it's an approach on how to write, more politically driven, thing. Horror movies, and just have it be a subtext rather than the text. Like the subtext is like kind of obvious, and it doesn't really take a lot of an analysis, excuse me. But it's a quality film, and it focuses on the horror aspect rather than the internal politics of the movie. And there are people that are heralding it as like, oh, Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peele broke the glass ceiling. Like, he really groundbreaking. Is like, he made a good movie. Why are you acting like this is like some accomplishment that we all worked on this together, you guys? Were you on set? Were you one of the actors? Were you one of the stand-ins? If that's the case, then why isn't my fucking name on the credits? Like, me and he's roughly the same skin color as me. Where's my goddamn paycheck, Jordan? These people are so fucking shallow. It's ridiculous.
It's like when it's like when your football team wins, you know, it's like, oh man, we thrashed Arsenal last week. I'm like, were you on the fucking field, were you fat slob? No, you fucking weren't. You didn't do shit. The professional athletes did it.
Just imagining Dr. Raven Cuckoo as
like, people just want to feel like, basically like losers always need to be validated by others. I think that's what it is. In terms of Get Out, I didn't actually see it. Gemma kind of said the opposite to you, and she saw it. She said that it was competently made, but it was like a social satire first and a horror movie second, which is kind of a problem.
I think it's also the fact that I saw it with my family. Like, it's seeing a decent movie in the theater usually improves the experience. Seeing a horrible movie in the theater makes you hate what could be just.
And I think it's not everybody's going to have the same. Not everyone's going to have the same movie taste, you know.
Well, then again, that's her white privilege showing, and she's just really ignorant, and she's not woke, and she needs to go to the root and actually deconstruct a lot of her preconceptions on Western colonialism. The fuck is this Western colonialism bullshit?
I like the way that when you're trying to sound more stupid. I love the way that when you're trying to sound more stupid, you do this thing where your voice goes up at the end of every word, like it's a question. And I know so many like that.
Like that, like, oh, Western imperialism is like, well, imperialism in general is a kind of archaic, it's a antiquated and draconian concept, and we can all generally agree on that for the most part. But every nation, like, I think every nation that's ever been founded has been engaged in that kind of practice. You only don't like Western imperialism is because we were good at it. You're just mad because we had a head start. Like, every time someone tries to bring that shit up, I was like, oh.
This is fucking derailed so much. It's like, let's laugh at JC the Hyena. It's just like degrading into, fucking liberals.
I'll say that, all I'll say is that as a gay man, sometimes there is something about being nice about seeing it represented. Sometimes, well, I think there's something of a difference when it comes to homosexual characters and how they're represented. Like, certain works tend to kind of shine a. There are plenty of stories that do a better job of emphasizing that without coming off as ham-fisted. The worst kind are the ones where you can tell that, you know, we got to fill a quota. Gotta make the gays feel good. Like, hey, this character likes sucking dicks. You like sucking dicks.
See, I try to avoid that, like, as a writer, but also as an actor when it comes to taking parts. You know, as someone who's indulged in a fair amount of dick suckery myself, like, you know, I try to be truthful to that. And like, when I did that pilot, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's on my channel. There was a pilot for a TV show that I was in. I wasn't involved in the writing, but I had some creative differences with the artist, but like, I felt that there was a level of truth to the character that that was interesting. You know, he wasn't a stereotype. He was somebody. You know, he was in the closet. You know, there were elements that were stereotypical, like he was a homophobe who was in the closet because he was a homosexual.
Yeah.
There was written, which I thought was appealing to me as an actor, because I try to. I mean, obviously, I take whatever roles I can get because, you know, my career is, you know, it's in the fucking toilet. I take whatever the hell roles I'm offered. But the rare occasion where I get a choice and I have more than one script and I can actually really delve into a project that I care about, I will always pick something that's written with sincerity. You know, even if it's a fucking alien, if it feels real, I only want to do it if it feels real. So you're going back to what Highly Impactful Podcast Network said. About representation, I do agree with you on that one. That, like, I I like to portray characters. You know, when it comes to the LGBT thing, like I was playing a character who I felt could really exist in the real world and wasn't just a prop to move the plot forward. I think so often, as Vince was saying, like there's a level of pandering and of we've got to fill out the game.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
And I try to avoid that as an actor, both as an actor and as a writer. You know, I'm sure that I've probably fall into that trap from time to time, but I just.
Oh God! Stop lagging on me, stream. Can you hear me, dude? It's gonna be a delay again.
Yep.
That delay. That's the only reason I've been like hesitating to actually like click on any links, guys, is because that's when the delay comes back. In full force, Sonic Force is. Okay, just gonna click. So we're gonna read that fanfic was only like 4 chapters long, so I'm not gonna really read that one. I will read this one though. Sonic.EXE, The Untold Origins. It's untold because no one wanted to hear it.
Which one? You kind of glitched out for a second there. Are we doing Sonic.EXE Rises?
No, this is a different one. This is actually back on DeviantArt. I'm gonna put this here. Drop this bad boy here. What was I gonna say? You know what's like on this topic? You know what's one of my favorite characters who happens to be like gay? Everyone ever watched Static Shock? His best friend Gear. You know, that character is actually gay, and I didn't know that until like I went back and watched it, and then like the creator confirmed it. And it's like there are very subtle things, kind of not really hints, but it's like subtle little character moments that kind of clue you into that idea.
I'm kind of like I'm in the middle of you guys because like Highly Impactful and like I don't know, Takumi, however it's pronounced, are both saying saying somewhat opposite things. I'm kind of in the middle of you guys when it comes to writing because I film a lot of what I write and I do like little series and things. For me, a lot of it is how the chemistry is with the actors as well. So, for example, I might write characters as friends, but if their chemistry feels romantic when the actors start working together, that's something you can start working into the story.
I don't know, I can't really talk about me as a writer because my writing abilities, my standards are higher, but my actual abilities have been deteriorating as of late, and I'm there's a reason why I've been pestering you lately by sending you like, Jacob, can you check out this script for me?
Well, it's the same with me, mate. Like, to be honest, the one you sent me was really good, but it's been the same with me. Like, the new episode of Darkland is fucking weak sauce, and like people, like a couple of people have said, "Oh, it's really good," but I'm like, it's just not as good as the others, though, and it's pissing me off. I haven't, you know, it isn't as good as the other stuff I've written, so I'm just like, it just isn't up to that standard.
Isn't it weird when you have higher standards than what you're capable of?
Yeah, I guess, but you know, I think it's good because then you never settle as an artist. You don't get into a rhythm and go, oh, this is good enough. If you strive to be better than you're capable of being, you'll always improve because each time you'll keep striving. You know, if you're a filmmaker, you know, strive to be Stanley Kubrick. You'll never get there, but you'll keep improving and you'll never settle. If you're an actor, strive to be Daniel Day-Lewis. You'll never get there, but you'll keep striving to be better.
You mean one day I could potentially fake a moon landing too?
Fuck off.
Oh, from Steve Wayne has I hate hyper realistic blog. It's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere. I love it. Steve, you're my nigga. I agree with Jacob. I'm more of a book writer than film. Okay, I'm sorry to cut you off right there. This is the best story of all time. But no, we're gonna actually read this now because I know a lot of you are like, oh well, this is supposed to be a stream dedicated to mocking a weirdo furry and his weirdo fandom. And I believe in reading this story. I can't think of anything. I was trying to think of a Trump joke, and I couldn't think of anything.
Okay, what is the story we're reading?
Sonic.EXE, the Ultra Origins. Did I actually hit send on that? Yes, I did.
I don't know if you did. Let me check. Yeah, the Untold Origin. There it is. Fucking hell, a prequel. Jesus Christ. Okay.
This is a fan-made prequel, dude.
Oh God, it's on DeviantArt.
I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the world around my finger.
Alright, do you want to start us off then? And I'll take over when you get bored.
Indeed. I'm going to put on my fanciest voice I can.
Ooh my.
No, this is my wrath of exit. What? Wrath of EXE what?
Exitior.
This is my Wrath of Exitior canon. Prequel starring Kyle. This is my canon, Kyle.
I know what some of those words mean.
This is my canon. Kyle is the first victim. Gary...
You will be the first victim of my canon.
Just thinking of that fucking...
Arrive at your... Yeah, it's like arrive at your door with one, just like...
I was thinking, you just remind me of that fucking line from Kung Fu Panda 2. Is like, oh, this is a parting gift, in that it will part you. Part of you there, part of you there, and part of you way over there, staining the wall. I love that villain so much.
Brilliant.
Gary, Jake, Alice, and others were killed afterwards, who were caught trying to pass the diss to Tom. By the way, in my headcanon, Big Jane Lebowski is like a hardcore feminist too. I believe firmly in the importance of squashing the patriarchy. For too long we have been forced to make sandwiches for men, and now the bread is on the other cheese, as you are making sandwiches for me now. That didn't even make any sense. What have I done? What kind of human am I? I made a big mistake, and now it's costing me my life. You don't bet on red, dude. If anyone is reading this, I'm probably dead. Oh, I love this cliche. You know, the if you're reading this, I am dead thing. Because, you know, that's always so compelling. What I'm about to say is something that I shouldn't have done. What I'm about to say is something that I shouldn't have done. I regret putting that thing into our world. I'm sure most of you...
I'm just giggling at a sentence that's coming up.
I'm sure most of you have heard of Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay. You know, that the Cobalt Mobian... What the fuck?
That's the one.
What the fuck? You know,
Mobian as well, beautiful.
You know the who? What is it with JC the Hyena's fans assuming that anyone cares about the fucking Archie comics and shit? Like,
and it's not just that, but it's like the use of cobalt. I mean, blue is fine. Like,
well, cobalt sounds cool.
A med scientist,
like sapphire or
Wang Fire. This is my wife, Sapphire.
Admiral Wolverine Lightning Bolt. 3 of the coolest words together. You know, that Cobalt Mobian Hedgehog that defeats a mad scientist named Dr. Couldn't think. Dr. Theodore Roosevelt with all his friends, the Freedom Fighters. I love that franchise. Well, the fact that you're writing the story kind of. What, this came out this year? This month? I just noticed that.
Exclusive here, folks.
What?
We might be the first people to. We might be the first people to put this on YouTube, actually.
What? It's what? It's been years. It's been years. There have been so many videos, so many people talking about and just deconstructing point for point everything wrong with Sonic.EXE, and to this day there are still people writing fan stories about it. How can you people not understand that this concept is dead on arrival? How? How are you all this remarkably naive?
Oh, by the way, the fucking comments are hilarious. The guy who wrote this is a fucking tool.
Oh my god. Well, I gotta rush through this story in order to get to that part then. Sonic is all across the internet, and wherever you can buy video games, he has he's all over, so wherever I can buy video games. So if I go into like a fucking I don't know what's a game. If I go to GameStop, are they gonna just have it hung all over the place? Like, you know, even where the fucking Halo 5000 comes out, like it's just Sonic's face photoshopped on Master Chief. I'd really like to see that, actually. Basically be like Chris Chan if he ever got the chance to vandalize everything else. He has fan games, fanfics, pictures, and merchandise, and so much more. Oh, we saw how much more he had. We were just at For Affinity. But that's not important. Let me tell you all about my mistake now. I was downloading a hack named Sonic 1 Remastered from my Sega emulator, Kega Fusion. I was excited to...
I use that.
Well, oh, see? Like, this is already a good story. We can all relate. I too use emulators. And Oh, he's gone. Oh, well, don't worry, guys. I'll still read. Anyone have new Battletoads? Your favorite Martian, the movie. I was excited to play a revamped version of my favorite Sonic game. Why it's my favorite game? So much hours wasted in my childhood. I spent every minute I didn't have homework to play Sonic 1, figuring out cheats, making weird shit in debug mode, and just having a wonderful time with the game. While I do like Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic 1 forever holds a place in the cackles of my heart. Anyway, the download soon finished. I noticed that unlike what the download said, the file was a .bin file labeled Sonic Origins. I was confused by this, but I just decided to load it into my emulator. Now this is where the real story begins. When the game booted up, the Sega jingle played, normal as can be. Then came the Sonic Team Presents screen. Finally, the title screen popped up. It was the first Sonic game, with the classic music and Sonic waving his finger. I was pleased by this. I pressed enter, but something strange happened. Wait, you're playing an emulator with a keyboard? What kind of fucking plebeian are you? Yeah, there was the original Sonic. I don't remember what it was. I think there was a debug mode for Sonic the Hedgehog where you could like basically build your own stages and shit. Or maybe I was just thinking about the Sonic Mania. And if you haven't played Sonic Mania, you should. It's the best Sonic game in years. And it kind of proves that how Sega is better off just giving their products to everyone else. Not named Naughty Dog. Although Sonic Fire and Ice was a competent game. Like that I wouldn't say it redeemed Sonic Boom, but it proved that Naughty Dog were capable of making a decent platformer starring Sonic characters. The game booted up. What was I pressed enter, but then something strange happened. I could have sworn, in a split-second frame, I saw Sonic's expression change to a nervous one, as everything turned dark red. The title ribbon, originally saying Sonic the Hedgehog, was changed to just Sonic. Luckily, this image was only for a split second, but I was still confused and scared by this. After a few seconds of black, a familiar file select appeared, and a familiar tune playing. Sonic.EXE status select! I exclaimed, and I laughed! Sure enough, was Sonic.EXE's file select, music and all. There were a few differences, though. The background...
It's the same story!
Well, with an even more idiotic narrator, though. Oh, wait, remember, I think this is from Kyle's perspective, though. Oh, the guy who, Are we gonna, like, see him actually as he frantically writes the message to Tom? I like to see that. Like, he's being stalked, and, like, Sonic.EXE is just, like, standing over his shoulder, like, tapping his foot and folding his arm, like, dude, you're gonna be done with this? Like, oh, no, I gotta proofread this note first.
Sonic.exe, proofread. I mean, just pick one.
Well, it doesn't mean he proofread it well. It's like, okay, I need... There are... Well, please destroy this disc, huh? There are only... There isn't 3 E's to destroy, there's only 2. Yeah. Maybe that's his idea of proofreading. Sonic GMOTA when? I have no idea what that is. Oh wait, Sonic Boom was made by a bunch of ex-Naughty Dog employees. I thought it was made by Naughty Dog in general. No, dude, like... Sonic and the Black Knight had an interesting... like... The game was shit, but I actually liked the aesthetic of the game. Like the storybook's aesthetic actually kind of looked nice. The soundtrack was actually pretty good. The gameplay was absolute shit, and the story didn't make any sense. But then again, you don't play a Sonic game for the story. And if you do, you're probably JCTheHyena. Where was I? Okay, and let me make sure that everyone's following along. Yes, everyone is. I can see the stream has not frozen. Excuse me. After a few seconds of black, where was I? It was a blue sky that reminded me of Sky Chase from Sonic 2. There were also just 5 save files. The file had Sonic in his Sonic 3 and Knuckles design, Amy, Tails, surprisingly in her modern design, Knuckles, and Dr. Robotnik. Now I knew something was up. How was Robotnik playable? He was the bad guy. Maybe they added him in as a joke character, or maybe a playable cutscene in his base or something. You can select a character so you can watch a cutscene. I didn't know what this game would hold in store for me. I tried selecting Robotnik curiously, but the game wouldn't let me select him. I tried to select Knuckles. Would he work? No. Amy? No. Tails? No. Sonic? Yes! When I picked Sonic, he did his victory animation from Sonic 3. Then he spun around and did another animation to his, similar to his "I'm out of here" animation in Sonic CD. Only he was smiling and not angry. You know, it's by your very good fortune that I actually know about what you're talking about. Because, I don't know, like, when I read Ben Drowned, I actually read Ben Drowned when I didn't know much about Majora's Mask and I had never played it before. But that story still managed to catch my attention because I was really interested in the character of Ben and how well written it was. But here is like people like, oh well, obviously abnormal things in the game, and that's the scariest part. Did anyone random question? Did anyone see that fan-made character that was like made by accident for Sonic Mania? Eggette, or it was like a omelet. You ever see that? Like it become like it's like semi-canon now. It's like Dr. Robotnik's niece. And it was made by accident when someone saw like leaked sprite work of one of the bosses. I think it was like the spider boss. And it was like hung. It was, you know, Eggman is in the control pod upside down, and someone saw that image of him upside down and thought it was like a different boss, and they decided to make a fan art based on that. Hold on, if you don't know what I'm talking about, hold on. Gotta deviate from this amazing story. I'm like du fromage. And it's probably the only Sonic OC in history that doesn't make me want to swallow a bullet. Because it's actually original, and it's actually kind of well designed. And it feels like it fits within the Sonic universe. Oh, it does kind of raise the question of, yo, that's his niece, then what the fuck, where the fuck is Eggman's brother? Is it Eggman nigga? Yo, from the nigga dimension? The niggaverse? Here, wait a minute. Give me a second. Hold on. Yeah, I originally saw this fan art too on like a cover of an album art on Bandcamp. I didn't like, well, what the fuck is that from? And it looks like something that you would see in Sonic, but I didn't know like where it was from. Villains having oblivious young relatives is one of my favorite tropes. Oh, here it is, see? Yeah, that is, it started from this right here. And it eventually became her own character. I mean, yeah, I do like that trope too. I like, even in like what we consider a more annoying, like, you know, like kind of like a obnoxious, know-it-all, but innocent kid, like, what's it called? Sylvester Cat. Remember he had like a son or something, and he was like yeah, here it is. Oh, look at that. Isn't that charming? Like this was made by accident. Like oh, Eggman upside down, but it looks like a tiny little girl in the ship, and they decided to make her into their own character. Like look at this. This is pretty cool actually. And it kind of goes to show that years later you can make something decent and original. It just takes a little bit of creativity and actually knowing what the fuck you're doing. Like she looks like she fits. But let's get off of that and get back to the story. I was talking about good things involving Sonic, so let's jump back into the depravity that is this story. Michael Lawal has left the call. Oh, crap. I did not know that. Yeah, Jacob's out of the call. Wait, what was this? I don't know why he left, but I apologize for that. Jacob, if you're listening at all, It was, if you're not coming back, then it was nice having you. You know, if you're coming back, then just let me know so I can add you back again. Well, whatever. It is, well, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning where he is. I'm just surprised he didn't say goodbye if you need to leave. Man, I don't need people seeing that I actually have a Facebook. That's embarrassing. Where was I? Where am I? Green Hill? Well, I guess I better explore a bit. Wait a minute, where was I? He was only smiling and angry. Sonic then jumped out of this title, and the file scrolled upward. Sonic fell through the sky as seemingly endless rows of clouds rushed by. The screen faded to black mere seconds later. The first level started up. As expected, it was Green Hill Zone Act 1 from Sonic 1. When the screen faded back, Sonic fell in and landed in an unfamiliar crouching animation. Before transitioning into his normal standing pose, he looked around, confused, doing a similar animation to Sonic 1's good ending, and said in an unfamiliar text box, "Huh? Where am I? This is Green Hill Zone. Well, I better explore a bit." Yeah, it's usually... What makes Omelette work so well is the fact that or Eggette, or whatever you want to call her, kind of has a lot of fluctuating names. What makes it work so well, the character, is that it comes from a genuine place of creativity. It is not just some kind of annoying, like, self-assertion from some dickhead, like, basically trying to insert themselves in the universe. Okay, it's like 1:50. Oh shit. Yeah. Good night, Sparrow. Sorry for keeping you up so late. Go get some sleep, dude. Nice having you here. And let me see. The stream will probably go on for another until the story ends, and then I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna read the comments, and then I'm gonna call it a day. Because I have been going on for a few hours now. This has gone a little bit better than I thought it was. It kind of started out as a chaotic mess, and then it became something better. Well, yeah, everyone. To be fair, everyone thinks that everyone holds their creative works dear. There's nothing wrong with that. I am very much embarrassed to admit that I also made a Sonic.EXE when I was younger. I made several. I don't know what it is. Let me see. The game started up as expected. It was the classic Green Hill music began to play, and I moved Sonic through Act 1 quickly. He had the spin dash from Sonic 2, the insta-shield from Sonic 3 and K, and peel-out from Sonic CD, and even the drop dash from Sonic Mania, which hasn't even been released yet. Wait, this is going through Kyle's perspective. What? No, you didn't miss anything. I'm going to finish reading this particular story, and then I'm going to read the comments on this thing. There are like 30 of them, so it probably gives a lot to do. And then I'm going to wrap things up. I'm sorry if I hope that you didn't miss too much. Although to be fair, this is not all that entertaining. I'm embarrassed to admit that I did this, but I actually have a story that's posted on the Creepypasta wiki, and it is the biggest piece of shit that could ever been put on there. It is just objectively awful, and I at some point might stream myself reading it for shits and giggles, or just record myself reading it for shits and giggles. So tell me if you guys would want to see that. If you want to see my awful first attempt at making a creepypasta. I'm not gonna do it today, but at some point. What are my thoughts on apples? I like apples. It's really good, apples and peanut butter. Ooh. Washington Red delicious apples aren't really my cup of tea. I used to like green apples a lot more. and as time has gone by, like, the sour taste doesn't do anything for me anymore. Boys in the Empire Discord. I know we'll read tonight. Okay. You know, that's fine. Not only is that fine, I'm going to give you the title of it, and I want you to search on Creepypasta Wiki, on the Creepypasta website. Like, you can probably just find it if you just Google search it. And I'd like you to read it, and then come back, and anything that you have to say about how shitty it is, just let me have it. I deserve it. Like, it would be really funny to me if people just, like, rag on me for that piece of shit I made before. So, it's called The Plague Artist. And it was my attempt to make a basically my own, like, oh, it's an author avatar, and also, at the same time, it's like, my attempt to make the new best, creepypasta character. So awesome and original, you guys. Like, I would really love to see people fucking, like, posting, like, railing against that shit, because I honestly deserve it for how bad that story was, and I'm ashamed of it, but still, it's funny now in hindsight. Killer Apples, the movie's a game. Wouldn't that just be a ripoff of, Killer Tomatoes? Just be, like, just a different fruit. Because tomatoes are a fruit, everyone, remember. Where was I? However, I noticed something at the end. When I had 50 rings, the giant ring wasn't there. In fact, neither was a signpost. Instead, there was a monitor. But it looked very peculiar. It had Sonic's head on it, like the normal extra life monitor. But the eyes were black, with glowing red pupils. The blue fur was darker, and it was surrounded by black, too. I didn't trust this monitor, but I couldn't move Sonic off screen. The screen was locked on the ending area with the monitor. I was screwed. Sonic had to hit the monitor. Curiously, I charged up the spin dash and then released it right toward the monitor. That was my mistake. Immediately after Sonic broke it, an icon rose out, started flashing. First, slowly. Then as I moved Sonic toward it, it screamed faster and faster. Nani? You know, there was actually, I wanted to, at some point in my younger years, I wanted to make a creepypasta based on yeah, anyone ever heard of Gregory Horror Show? It's like a kind of obscure Japanese anime. And it was like 3D models, and it had a very blocky style. And it had a video game on it based on, you know, a PS3 video game, a PS2 video game. And that game is really obscure, and it's probably be hard to find nowadays. Like, you know, they're definitely not gonna put it up on a fucking PlayStation Network, unfortunately. And it's kind of like a very unique survival horror game that's about going around this house collecting souls from these weird, eccentric, like, entities that basically want to kill you. I wanted to write a creepypasta based on that game. That's what I wanted to do. Where it was like this, someone gets like a weird, nearly destroyed copy, and my idea was basically that there would be one character that was in the game, one character that's in the show, but that not in the game, but he's put in the game, and it's like, oh, it's like I think I was gonna call it the Salaryman glitch, where it's like this guy encounters the Salaryman, and it does weird things to his game every time he like he goes up to it, like a screech and it crashes. And it wasn't gonna be anything haunted or mysterious or anything like that. It was just gonna be like some kind of weird, fucked up glitch that kind of creeps people out. And the whole idea was that since he had no frame of reference as to what the fact that he's not supposed to be in the game, he's basically just asking people if they've seen the same thing, even though like it's exclusive to only his game. Yeah, it's probably a lot better in my head when I said it the first time. Thought about it the first time. Let me see. But then Sonic first slowly, but then as I moved Sonic toward it, its jumps flashed faster and faster. Suddenly the stage began to shake like crazy as Sonic did his wobbling animation, but he was looking up instead of down. The monitor's icon rose to the sky, and a sound that sounded like time slowing down, played as Sonic was lifted up, playing the Lost Rings animation. And a blinding flash of light, it cut to black. The screen faded onto what appeared to be darkness, and though another Sonic was there, it was laying on his back for a few seconds. Suddenly, its eyes snapped open, and it jumped to his feet. A text box appeared, labeling Sonic as X. What is that? That's not right. Ew, that's not my cup of macaroni and cheese. Well, yeah, I'm glad that people actually think the concept of what I was, my story suggesting was okay. I don't know, like, I think there's something more creepy. Like, that's what the Ben Drown footage is kind of unnerving to watch. It's because it's kind of weird seeing how things are happening that really shouldn't be happening, because sometimes glitches come off as really creepy, and you don't need all these weird subtexts to drive home how unnerving everything is. X began running through the darkness, and as he did, I noticed something. He had a somewhat red tint on his eyes, though it was barely noticeable. He noticed it, but it was barely noticeable. Okay. I thought you were saying Mugman, like fucking Cuphead. Or that old Flash series that no one talks about, Mugman. Anyone remember that? Like a Flash series, it was kind of weirdly, like kind of not not drawn very well. It was like a dude with like one arm. He had a cup for a head, and his arm was like a handle. Anyone remember that? I was gonna Google search it so I could show you what it was. No, stick on topic. We're reading the story. We're gonna finish it. It cut to black. I was very confused. I was confused as this cutscene. What? At this cutscene, was it? X ran along for a few seconds before he jumped into a red version of the special ring. It cut to black mere seconds later. I was confused at this cutscene. Was it right? Who was X? Before I could think about it a bit more, the next level title appeared, saying Hill Act 2, excuse me. Very odd indeed. When the screen faded, Sonic had an unfamiliar expression on his face now. It looked like a sad face. When Sonic idled, he looked at me and pointed right curiously. Sonic had lost his overpowered moveset and could only jump, crouch, or spin dash. Kind of like the original game. Yeah, you guys have fun with that shit. And you know the funny thing is, in hindsight, I'm very ashamed of that. People made one person made fan art of Plague Artists. It was pretty shit. No, the fan art itself was actually not that bad. Like, it was actually pretty decent. And I'm mostly talking about the story. Like, if someone else liked it, and I don't want to shit on them just because they like how fucking dare you enjoy my shit? What was weird about this new level was that it was long. A long, linear version of Green Hill Act 3. The music had changed to what sounded like a calm melody that would belong in a Genesis game, but it was reversed. A calm melody. Have you heard the soundtracks on the Sega Genesis? The Sega Genesis is for rock, my nigga. As I moved Sonic along, I noticed that noticed that the trees and grass and plants started to get duller and more lifeless, quote unquote. The water had darkened to a sickly gray, and the sky was black and cloudless. Totem poles had expressions of fear on the top, as if they were screaming. You know what? I just thought of something. Let me delete this from my browser history. I don't know why this just randomly came to mind. Okay, let's do that right now. I'll do it later. I don't know why that just came to mind. It's like, oh yeah, I should probably get rid of this. Yeah, Thunder Force 4, motherfucker! My nigga right here, Steve Wayne! What was it called? Re-Rise? Is that what the band's name called? That does the metal cover of that song? And fucking, Devil's Crash, I think it's called. Oh man, dude. Give me a too sweet in the chat. Give me a too sweet. As I kept moving the song, fuck this. After walking throughout the barren level, something caught my attention on the floor. It was a Flicky, the iconic blue bird version, but it had no eyes, and it must scream. And it was laying down on the floor, dead! Now Sonic walked with an unfamiliar slow walking expression. Animation. He passed more and more dead Flickies, killed in gruesome ways. Trees were dripping with blood, plants were ripped up and dying, and some of the original GHZ stage gimmicks were on the ground broken. It was a terrible mess. As Sonic kept moving, I saw more dead animals, and even broken batnicks. As Sonic moved past him, looking more and more worried, as the music lowered in pitch. Yeah, Sword of Justice. This fucking rocks. Got all their shit, man. You know, for the longest time when I was younger, I didn't even know that, you know, Alpha Omega Sin, like, his opening song used to be, like, their cover of the opening theme for Devil's Crush. Who's back against the screen? My playable Sonic started to walk slowly toward the other Sonic. Excuse me, the story's just so riveting. Whose back was against the screen? Oh, he's right. Who? I wasn't using my keyboard to make Sonic move, so this was a cutscene apparently. I heard a deep thumping that sounded like a heartbeat as Sonic got closer to the other Sonic. My playable Sonic stuck his hand out to touch the other Sonic. I then remember the cutscene from earlier, and it hit me all across the face. That other Sonic was X! Wait! I shouted to Sonic, but it did no good. X spun towards Sonic, and Sonic jumped back and shot. The cutscene began. What the... who are you? Suddenly, I noticed X's eyes began to melt away into black sockets. Those sockets began bleeding, but the worst was yet to come. With a flash of red, X revealed his form. He now had darker fur and red eyes with black sockets, which were bleeding. Sonic now had a terrified expression on his face. X then spoke. My name is XTOR. You may call me X. Okay. I can't fucking stand Razor Fist. It doesn't help that the dude is a big fucking Vince Russo dick rider. Fuck Vince Russo. X, or rather, XT. You hit my monitor! Now you will die! X, or rather, Exitor, lunged towards Sonic and grabbed him by the neck. Sonic was squirming and wailing for mercy to no avail. The same time slowing down sound effect played as the screen distorted and flashed into a black screen. A message appeared with text like Sonic 2's title card. Hello there, man. Welcome to my world. I was scared, but I decided to continue anyway. Why? Because I had questions that needed to be answered. Anyway, the next level was entitled Try to Escape Act 3. Sonic spawned in what looked like Spring Yard, but the backyard was a darker version of Sky Chase's background, which the original background... Oh, God, this is so boring! Okay, I'm just gonna skip this part, where Eggman met Shadow on Prison Island loop. Sonic can only run left now. I'm gonna just skim over like to the actual interesting parts. Yeah, run! Boy. I heard the famous drowning theme as the spikes began to run towards the... Run! You blue bastard, run! I shouted at Sonic, but thankfully, Sonic made it out thanks to the special stage's ring dead ahead. It faded to black a few seconds after Sonic entered. A message appeared again. Still alive? Interesting. The next level loaded, titled My Game Act 666. When it loaded, Sonic standing in the darkness, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. I'll be honest, I can't do this. I'm gonna just skim over this shit. This is so fucking boring. You're gonna have to write garbage, you're gonna have the least decency to fucking... Okay, tell him Wilson. I'm not reading this. Great job, man. Thanks. What was your favorite part? IDK. Avery was great. Nice. Paintbrush.exe. Hello, Exitor. Exitor. It's oh wow, Jacob wasn't kidding. This guy's a fucking tool. If you want to greet someone, do it properly. Oh boy. How it all begins before I write how it ends. What if Sonic.EXE Executor were voiced by Justin Cook, the voice of Superboo? Well, because they black guys, I maligned him. Like, you know, I have nothing against furries. I really don't. I point and laugh and mock, and that's, you know, I think that's my prerogative. But whatever. I have nothing against it. And if you know any furries and I'm friends with a few. Good, generally good people tend to keep that shit like to themselves. They don't bother anybody. And we did, as Jacob pointed out, go over to his Fur Affinity to you know, basically take the piss out of the guy. So it's like, if we really didn't want to see that, then we could have just stayed off that to begin with. I ain't got nothing against JC. He, for the most part, he seems to have calmed down, and he's not actively going out antagonizing people on the internet. So that's fine. Like, you know, if JC wants to like continue making the shit he does, then more power to him. You know, that's not going to stop me from making fun of him. It really isn't. And I think that JC would be better off learning to accept that fact, that his hobbies and interests are not what are considered the norm. And as such, he's gonna probably be singled out for it. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that justifies bullying. I'm not saying that he deserves to get bullied, but I don't constitute, like, pointing and laughing at someone for doing something abnormal to be bullying. I just consider it, you know, just, I don't know, just making an observation more than anything else. So, don't leave JC alone. Don't go to his Fur Affinity and bother him. Like, he's not hurting anyone. Unless he actively goes out to fuck with people, leave the guy alone. I mean, again, I got nothing against furries at all, honestly. I'm more. Jacob in general is a lot more blunt than I am, and I think he's a little bit more like I don't know how to describe it. Like he's more. Yeah, I think it's just that he's just a lot more blunt than I am, and I'm more concerned with stepping on people's toes. Like I just don't like the thought of people bothering someone for something that is ultimately rather innocuous. There are some people online that I think do generally need to be kind of looked at and derided. But you know, I wouldn't sick anyone on them. But like anyone who like posts like stuff of child porn and like like lolicon, like I'm very I'm not fond of that. As I said before I close things off, go subscribe to Jacob and Alexo's channel. You know, if you want to subscribe to me, then feel free to do so. And for those who, Alexo is ELAXB, or I don't know. That Alexander Wolf is he's I don't know if anyone knows Alexander Wolf, professional wrestler. Just like how he thrashes every time he gets in the ring, like he's in a moth pit. What do you mean? Yeah, basically, anyone who's subscribed to me, anyone who's subscribed to me is most likely already subscribed to Jacob. So it's kind of, yeah, all. What 5 of you? If Jacob gets an extra 2 subscribers, like yeah, you know who you owe, Jacob. No, I don't have those kind of delusions of grandeur. Oh, thanks, Jamie. Yeah, I've been on YouTube for 9 years, and I finally have 450. No, but seriously, that's cool. I'll probably do something for actually try to do something for the 500 subscribers. Hopefully, the video I'm working on now will actually bring in some attention to my channel, because I'm actually trying to that's odd. I'm actually trying to wait a minute, is that Alexo's? Is that actually his Bandcamp? I really hope so, because I've been hoping to find Alexo's Bandcamp. I don't know, I just assume that he does because he's a musician. Yeah, like I've become addicted to Bandcamp as of late. I've found so much good shit there, like "Flowers of Evil" by Ruth White. I found that like not too recently. Comedy, gaming, magic tricks, creepypasta. There it is, right here. Yeah, that's a free album too. That's the best part. The remastered Metroid soundtrack. I don't remember the name of the guy who made it, but yeah, that's a pretty good soundtrack overall. Found let me see, Ruth White. Trying to think on the top of my head all the shit I've seen done, or I've downloaded from there. What was it, the Red Light Band? The Red Light song is like basically like kind of like a polka thing. Probably look on my phone. This isn't important at all. I just really want to get some music recommendations out there. Spin Dash 2. The Cuphead soundtrack is on there. Cuphead soundtrack is fucking amazing. VAH, Valhalla, the soundtrack to Valhalla. Ollie, like, has anyone ever heard of Acepic? What was it? Acepic Topic or something like that? Acepic Eyes or something? Hold on, let me look it up. Slender's Woods. Yeah, Aseptic Void, excuse me. Aseptic Void, that's his name. If you like dark ambient shit, this guy has made some really good shit. Like, he's actually made a soundtrack to a Slenderman video game called Slenderwoods, and it is surprisingly good. Like, it's better. Like, I've seen Slender's Woods; it's not very good. Yeah, yeah, I probably should just cap it off right here. So, remember what I said about JCTheHyena? Leave the fucker alone. He's harmless. And I'll talk to you guys later. This will be the last stream I do for quite a while. Feel free to tell me how shit my fucking awful-ass story is. And, you know, I'll probably keep an eye on the Empire thing. So, peace. And, Jacob, if you're watching this, thank you so much for being on stream. I'll probably tell you that later on in private. Yeah, y'all have a good one.